Good evening, everybody. Oop. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Chinwag episode 51. Bit of a sad episode for me, really, because as you can see, it's just me on my own. Beck is not feeling very well. Since the kids went back to school, they both picked up colds, and eventually it's worked its way to Rebecca, who has been trying to fight it off for most of this week. And unfortunately, it's just gotten the better of her. She thought she was feeling better. She's been drinking Lemsip like crazy, and it's just not been happening. So she wanted to be on the chat, but unfortunately she just didn't feel she was going to be healthy enough to join me. So you're going to be stuck with me, which is a bit of a shame. But also I'm hoping that Nick is going to be popping in at some point as well. I think he's a little bit busy at the moment, but as soon as he is free, then we will be able to get a little chat going with that. So without further ado, I'll just say a few hellos, because obviously it's always nice to say hello to everyone that's actually taking time out of their Friday evening to spend with us. I really must reiterate, we appreciate it so much when you guys are like joining us, chatting away. It is absolutely epic. It makes it all worthwhile doing, as you can imagine. Let me just make sure this is all muted and paused. Yeah, we've got quite a few people already in the chat, which is nice to see. I'll just, like I said, I'll do a few hellos and whatnot. Bum Crack Picker was the first person in. A Chelsea Falling on a Bruise. Karen from No Crafts, Just More. Hicksey's in here as well. A shout out to Hicksey. Steve is on the mend, as I'm sure he's mentioned. Yep, he says he's had his plaster off. Dave Rowland's in. Ryan Doing It Yourself Lifestyle is in the chat as well. So welcome everyone. Jay Resells, Southwest Sellers, Adam Kelsey, Blitz. Lady Lolly says nice hat, Z. Thanks. It is a nice hat. It's actually one that Rebecca knitted for me. She knitted this for me actually quite a while ago. I've worn it previously. Like, I normally wear it like solidly through the winter months. I just wear it all the time. I absolutely love it. It's super comfortable, and it's really helping to keep my hair out of my face, because since my hair's grown out, it's really annoying, especially when you're taking photos of things and you're like leaning over them to get the right angle, etc. I notice my hair's just annoying the hell out of me. Keeps on coming in front of my face and just can't stand it. So the hat is amazing. I absolutely love it. Steve's in the chat. Karin is in the chat. Phoebe Finn Fashion, and Hamilton as well. Peter Ray, Diesel Engine Freak. Richard Payne says hi, Z. Get well soon, Beck. Beck said she would pop into the chat. I'm not sure. I've not seen her in there yet. She's upstairs, probably trying to get on with some listing, actually. But yeah, I mean, she's not like bedridden or anything, but she just feels really, you know, when you've been under a cold and you've just been drinking Lemsip all day, trying to feel better, taking tablets, and she just isn't in the mood to be sat down talking, because her voice probably wouldn't handle it. So I hope you guys understand. Bob Dixon says the hair won't be a problem for much longer. That's right, guys. Just to reiterate, for those of you who are not aware of this, I am going to be braving the shave with Macmillan, the cancer, well, the charity that provides wonderful support for people in, like, you know, who are ill in their last stages, especially. And we do a thing called Brave the Shave. There's a lot about it. Basically, shave your hair for charity. We've already raised £725. And on the 6th of October, on the live stream, Beck will be shaving all my hair off. So there is a link in the description box below if you haven't already, to donate. I've actually got 2 donation pages, but I've just put the Just Giving one down there just so we can do that. Lots of new people popping in, a lot of lovely comments. Oh, Nick has just joined us as well. Hi Nick, how are you?
I'm good. Sorry for the delay. I
Oh,
was
no worries, no worries. I'm just saying a
quite
few
nice.
hellos and giving another plug to the Brave the Shave.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
I was
So-
busy going backwards and forwards with offers on this beastie. I managed to close the deal.
Oh, you got a mixer.
Yeah, I had it on at
Cool.
90, which was being a bit optimistic,
Nice.
and I settled on 73.
Oh, I
So
love that. Yeah, mixers are fun. I've actually got a mixer here, which is cool. eBay seem. I actually just talking a bit about eBay now that you're here. Um, blame Nick. Bex is ill, says Adam Kelsey. there's
you can't blame me for that one. Jeez.
well, apparently it's your fault. The hashtag is there. So
Whatever.
so yes, I just wanted to just quickly mention, have you noticed eBay's just become a little bit alive this evening? It's been quiet all day for me, and then in the last hour or two I've started to get questions, and I've had offers and a sale as well. And all day it hasn't been like that. I mean, I think I had a sale. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Well, we've had a pretty good week all round. It's been really happening for us. Yeah, today hasn't been anything special. Just had that decent order in, but
I've got to say this is the first week where I've really enjoyed not having or like I've really enjoyed having two stores. As some of you guys will know, that Bex has obviously got her own store, and she's been working on it really hard, and it's actually now getting to the stage that we were hoping, where, you know, if one of us has a quiet day, it might not be so bad because the other store might kick in. And we've had elements of that this week, and it's been really great. It's still not where we want it to be, but between the both of us, we've actually done okay. So if I'd looked at my own sales figures for the last 7 days, they've been pretty bad on eBay. They've just dropped a little bit. Like, we've had a few too many, like, you know, 50 to 80 pound days rather than the 100+ pound days.
yeah,
So it's been nice that those have been completely you know, pushed up with Rebecca's sales, which is so cool. And then on top of that, with Amazon as well, it's really hitting home how important it is to have as many, you know, different streams of income as possible.
exactly. Well, over time, as Beck's store grows and her clothing knowledge grows and confidence, that's only going to improve, isn't it? It's only ever going to get bigger, surely.
Yeah, exactly. So the items, etc., that she's picking up and whatnot, as it all changes, yeah, we're aiming to. It's just nice feeling, because normally we'd be sat here going, "Oh, it's been a bit of a mere week," but because of her store, it's actually been a decent week. So you know, overall, we can't
So
pop in.
pop and say hi.
Yeah, she's. You know what it is? It's not like she's bedridden. I mean, you saw her earlier. She's
Yeah,
not.
we
You
spoke
know,
briefly.
it's just, you know, when you're like just battered from having a cold. You
Well,
know.
these chats, it's kind of full on, isn't it? And if you're not feeling up to it, it's quite a stressful thing sometimes
What
coming on live. If you're not feeling well, yeah, I wouldn't want to do it.
I think, yeah, I mean, you've got to bear in mind, it's like talking straight for an hour. That's like an art in itself, isn't it? It's like, well, not an art. I think we're pushing it a little bit to call it
Yeah, I
what we
would call it
do in
art,
art. I mean,
but it's quite it's yeah, I don't know. It takes it out of you. It's quite a lot of
well,
effort
it
to
takes
waffle
energy.
aimlessly for an hour.
Yeah, a lot of energy. I mean, she's been spending most of her evenings just drinking Lemsip, watching NCIS. But she has been working as well, bless her. And I think it's just, you know, it's pretty cool. Wow, there's a lot of comments coming in actually. Dave Rowland said, "Get Steve on the show." Actually, we should get Steve on the chat, shouldn't we, Nick?
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask him. Steve, if you're in the chat, let us know if you're up for coming on at some point. I did speak to Tom a while back about coming back on, so I think Tom was up for it. But we all know he's had a horrific few months. So,
oh, definitely.
but yeah, Steve, let me know if you're up for that. I just saw a question that we could touch on quickly.
Yeah, sure.
From Ketan Panchal, probably ruined that name there. What do you guys think of the eBay email stating you are not allowed to complete the sale outside of eBay? Well, if I start, because you all know, if you've seen my video, I got that very email. And to be fair, hands up, I messed up. And you have to know that if you're going to sell on their platform, you've got to operate within their within their rules and regulations. It's only fair because they need to get paid. If eBay don't get paid for hooking you up with the buyer, the whole thing falls apart, and you can't circumvent that. And I think it's fair enough. You know, you can't argue with it. What
Yeah,
do you reckon?
completely. Yeah, it's like you said, it's their playground. They're the ones that have actually you know, matched you with your buyer, really, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I know. I was going to say some people have had that email when they haven't tried to avoid paying the fees. You know, they just put a word in, or they've had a few messages with a buyer, nothing trying to avoid paying the fees, and yet they've still had that email, or in some cases had a week ban or whatever it is. So there's the algorithms and the emails aren't going out for the right reasons all the time.
The punishments can seem so arbitrary, can't they? I mean, like you said, you got like a slapped wrist for it, pretty much, didn't you?
Yeah, and other people got a ban for the same thing. You know, just messages with dodgy looking conversations in.
Well, I mean, what they call dodgy. I mean, you do have to be careful. I mean, I'm very quick to, in any communication, I'm very quick to like shut down. You know, I almost make it obvious. You've got to make sure that, you know, whatever algorithm eBay have got is picking up on the fact that you're very, you know, I want to complete the sale through eBay. I will not complete the sale outside, etc. Whatever, you know.
We had
Just
that exact thing because we had a. Let me grab it actually. This thing. We sold this the other night. Well, the guy messaged and said, "I want that. I want to come and pick it up. It's a nail gun." And we said, "Yeah, that's fine." And then we both got really paranoid, saying, "Yeah, come and pick it up. That's fine." Blah blah blah. So then we said, "You need to complete this purchase." And he's like, "Well, can I pay cash?" Yes, but you need to complete the purchase on eBay before coming round. And we made it so clear. And
yeah.
that's the point of firing out these slap on the wrist emails, isn't it? Because we are paranoid as hell now, because we're kind of on a final warning. So we made sure, and he's coming around on Sunday. He's actually paid already. So job done.
Well, that's fantastic then to get that. Wow, Adam Kelsey has just super chatted a fiver for the Mewtwo Bolo. Sold one this week, found it for $2.99 in a charity shop. Oh wow! And it says we'll put more in the Shea Fund as well. That's very generous. Yeah, how much did you sell it for, Adam? That would be interesting to know. I'm pretty sure that
prices were going up on those.
They're close to 200 now. I think 150 minimum. Absolutely fantastic.
Actually, that's a good topic, because I mean, we've all heard the kind of fear of sharing is that markets get saturated, prices come down, it ruins particularly Bolo items. The market gets ruined just because we're talking about it. If that's the case, how come these cameras are just going up and up?
Well, there you go. Adam Kelsey just confirmed he sold it for £200 going to Japan. And the thing is, that's actually a perfect example of it quashing both of those fears. A, that you can't find the items, which is because he's actually found it in a charity shop of all places. And of all places, the charity shop only charged $2.99 for it, which is fantastic. And you know, the price that he's gotten for it as well. So it shows that there's still a lot of life left in bolos. I think it more comes down to maybe, do you think maybe the word bolo has been overused to describe items? So for example, the Olympus Mewtwo, in my opinion, is a bolo because there's a finite amount of them. Olympus don't make them anymore. They're genuinely sought after. So for example, Hero Quest is another bolo. But do you think perhaps maybe the term bolo has been overused, and then people are finding on certain items that they maybe thought were bolos but aren't really, but are just like bread and butter items, and then they found that maybe the market's changed?
Yeah, there's something to that, because with that item, that there aren't that many, you're not going to find it that often. Whereas we've all seen things like the Harry Potter book sets, the market genuinely becoming flooded. And the reason for that is just about every charity shop you go in will have at least one Harry Potter book quite often. So if everybody's looking for them, the market is going to get flooded. But the thing with these is there's not that many out there. It just means if you put that little nugget of information in their head, they're more likely to spot it. So I think you're right. I mean, the term is used to cover all sorts of things, but
Yeah, I definitely think it maybe it's just to bear in mind that when you're looking for these items, that the other one that I think gets often mentioned alongside the Olympus is the Yashica as well. There's a Yashica T5, I think. And that's another camera that, if you were to look at it, would not scream money, but is actually worth more than the Mewtwo if you find one, but very rare to find out that.
Yeah.
But there we go. Adam does say, on the flip side, now this is hilarious. On the flip side, there was a Polaroid camera in that charity shop for £150.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
amazing.
isn't that hilarious?
So somebody in there knows something about Polaroids and has just decided.
Just decided that yes, it's
£100. That's way beyond the odds anyway.
yeah, 150. If
Over
you
the
can
odds.
sell a Polaroid for £150, then you may well be like Jordan Belfort or Gordon Gecko or something. I don't know. You must be like a shark of great white proportions to to be able to get 150 quid on a Polaroid. But isn't it hilarious? I mean, I think there was you see these things all the time where they feel, I suppose, because there's that saying, isn't there? Little learning is dangerous. And and as Peter Cummins asked, was that Polaroid made of gold? You know, you'd think, wouldn't you? But there is that term, little learning is dangerous, and I do feel that. I mean, that applies to all of us, and I do feel that sometimes with the charity shop research, they do have that small knowledge, which is, oh, you can get good money for some of these things on eBay, but then the knowledge doesn't extend much beyond that statement. So they
Also,
then assume everything is worth.
yeah, and those Mewtwo's, they just look like any other bog standard point and click, which most of aren't worth more than a fiver or a tenner. So
Yeah.
they're kind of of the mind of, it's just another plastic camera, chuck it in the box. You
Yeah,
know what I
exactly.
mean?
Just to mention there, Darren Smart has actually mentioned that the Nikon L35AF is another £100 plus film camera. See, I think this is quite an interesting topic in itself. Not cameras necessarily, but just the initiative side of things. Like, this information's come out that the Olympus Mew 2 is a valuable camera, and some of you guys out there have gone out, researched that niche of compact film cameras further, which when you think about it, it really doesn't take a lot of work. But to take the steps, you still have to take those steps, right? And you found that there's quite a few cameras out there that are sought after, that are cult. I mean, I had that big mini as well, which had unfortunately had the issue, but it still sold for money. It still made me a tiny profit.
Yeah.
So there's so many out there, and I think you've got to be thinking like that when you're
I might make a video at some point about just how to do research on eBay, because
yeah.
it seems kind of common knowledge to us, but it's, you've got to understand how you can do the searches, how you can manipulate the searches with
Well,
it.
I mean, the process itself, I think it would be great to have a video on it, and it's simple enough. But I'm not necessarily sure the process is what's the issue, because everyone pretty much in this chat will know how to check completed listings. However, if we were then to do like a survey on the chat and say, okay, now how many of you have seen a Bolo item, but then gone in specifically and taken 5 minutes to research that niche more generally to find other similar items which are also worth money?
Well,
And I bet you that
I haven't
yeah,
done it much at all recently.
yeah,
I've been just so head down
yeah.
working, and I should do it more often. You know what I mean?
Which
But
keeps you on the button, doesn't it? And like, for example, we all see so many. I mean, the community shares so many bolos, doesn't it? Like so many good items. Like people, whenever someone gets a nice sale, I'm the first to do it. If I get a nice sale, I'm more than happy to put it on Facebook or put it on Instagram or make a video about it. Look at this, what I sold. But and I'll watch other people as well who make great sales as well. And but then I'm not taking that next step, I suppose, sometimes, where what I should do is be like, okay, it takes 5 minutes to go into that niche, and so for example, if someone has said, oh, the Mewtwo compact film camera sells for good money, why aren't I just doing a completed search on compact film cameras and filtering by sold highest price? How long does that take? Or for example, if someone says to you, oh, Crash Bandicoot, the PS1 game, sells for good money, why aren't I just typing in PS1 game sold completed highest price first? You know, it doesn't take
It's
a
funny.
lot, but it's
I was going to say a little thing. I don't know if you do this. When Darren mentioned, I've got it written down here already, Nikon L35 AF. Do you have in your notes on your phone little lists? Could I do?
wow,
Because
that is class.
I can't remember that, honestly. I
Yeah.
think the reason everyone mentions Mewtwo is it's a weird name, it's a memorable
Sounds like a
name.
Pokemon.
Yeah, you can remember that. How are you going to
Sounds like
remember
a Pokemon.
Nikon or Nikon L35? I can't remember that. I have to have that in my phone, and then if it slightly rings a bell, I can go and check. Or if it's a pound, you might take a chance anyway, just because it's a Nikon. But yeah, little lists in your phone is quite handy.
I think that's a very good tip. Actually, I'm guilty of not using lists when I really should. You know,
It doesn't take long to
yeah,
build up things that you just can't remember when you're out. And the moment you have that, oh, I can't remember what was that thing, you know you need to go home, research it, and write it down.
yeah,
And then it's in your pocket. Because when are we without our phones?
yeah. It's a good point. I don't use the note function on it. I've never used the note function.
Oh, I've got bloody hundreds on it.
See, that's fantastic. That's such a good tip in itself. Actually, like, that's something that would be
I've got
yeah,
lists when I'm trying to build sets, like I'm trying to get sequential runs of Now albums. I'm trying to complete Lemony Snicket books, whatever. I've got lists of numbers on here of things I'm looking for.
oh, so when you're out and about, you
Got,
can
yeah.
quickly look at
Uh,
the list and
Lemony Snicket books that I need. There's only 2 left to complete the next set.
oh, there you go.
Because sometimes you'll be in a shop and the books are overpriced, but if you only need one more, you're
You
happy to
don't
pay
mind
like £2 for the book.
because you're going to get a 50, 60 quid sale out of the set.
Yeah, yeah, whatever it is, bundle.
Yeah. Oh, right. That's actually a really good idea. But again, maybe I haven't done that as much because I don't deal with books as much. But I don't know. But still, it would be
Yeah,
very
price for
handy
everything.
just to have a list, just
Yeah.
to have a list of like Bolo items or whatever. I mean, let's pop into the chat quickly and see what people are saying. I bought okay. Mewtwo is still on. My Mewtwo is still on sale. After £200 too, paid £4 at the car boot. Says Richard Payne. Wow, that's pretty good. Blitz says he's guilty for that. The Thailand Heron says I don't know how to check sold items on mobile. It is a bit more awkward on mobile, but I believe there's
Yeah, you can.
there's like a little. I think there's like 3 little lines to explain it on the interface. Yeah, on the left. How do you do it?
I'll show it on
Yeah,
screen.
I normally press like the 3 little lines, and then so if I'm searching for something, oh, that's really good description, isn't it? I normally look for the 3 little lines. You
Well,
do.
there's a little thing at the top here that says filter.
Yeah.
So if you click the filter, you then get a drop down. I've just done a search for Mewtwo, and then you scroll it down until you get to, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. You can click a little thing that says completed. So you highlight that. You can highlight other filters as well. Click done, and instantly it just brings up completed listings. So we've got a Mewtwo sold for 100, one sold for 115, 125. I'll probably find what's his name's one in a minute. So then everything is green. You'll see all of that. Well, they won't all be green because it's not just solds. So the red one there because that one hasn't sold. The rest are all green because they have. I use that all the time when I'm in a, I don't know, charity shop, boot sale, whatever. If it's a brand new item to me, I've got no clue about. Just look it up.
Peter Ray says we all have specialist knowledge about certain items. Mine is on gaming knowledge. Definitely, Peter, I agree. Everyone's got specialist knowledge, but that's why these lists and doing these searches is a good idea because then you can grow your knowledge to other areas. Karin says I have excellent cake knowledge. That's always good knowledge to have.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, definitely got to have cake knowledge. I have very good confectionery knowledge, as is evident. Oh, some good news as well. I've mentioned this to Andrea actually.
Yeah.
KFC do offer a vegetarian option. They don't. The reason why this is big news is because it means that I can go to KFC with Beck more often now because they actually have a vegetarian option. They
Has
just don't
Becky
talk
tried it?
about it.
Has Beck tried it? Yeah.
Yeah, she loved it. She said it was really
Oh,
nice. It was like a corn rice box or something. I don't know.
because
Like,
sometimes the
yeah,
veggie options in fast food places can just
a bad,
be
yeah.
shocking.
But apparently it's nice because it's like they do these like rice salad boxes and things and with sauce and whatever. So, um, you know, pretty good.
I've got, I wanted to share a couple of things with you actually that I was dealing with just before I came on. I've got a brand new. Now, what would you do? This is Kenwood FP250 modern food processor. It's new without box. I bought it at a yard sale. It's never been used. Everything is just sparkly and new,
Nice.
totally unused. The blades are all still sealed in their cardboard box. Parted out. I looked at parts on this. It's an easy 80 quid plus in bits. If I did the base, the lid, the jug, all of that crap. But it's obviously going to take, they're fairly long tail items, some of those. Or would you just stick it on for 50, 60 and get one sale probably within the week?
See, personally, I'd want to just sell it in one go. That's personally what I would do now.
I kind of came to that conclusion mainly because I did the pictures of the whole unit last night. And only when I came to search the price, there were loads of parts and it was like 15 quid just for the bowl. Hello.
I think, yeah, I just think when it's nice and new like that, it's a shame to break it up as well. Someone will get like a nice new food processor and you'll get a quick sale out of it. So I kind of,
I'm starting to think I'm going to do it as one big lot and go 60 and not budge.
Yeah, just ask your money and yeah, I'd sell it in one go. I mean, there may have been a time where I'd split it. I think it does depend on how much you're dealing with as well, though. I think like whether you split something or not depends on, do you have the space to store it for that extra amount of time that it's going to take to individually sell things? How many other items have you got to process?
Clearing stuff, so it kind of makes sense. Right, in the chat they've come in with their opinions. Peter says 50 or 60, sell it, get rid. One sale, says Karen.
Yeah,
okay, exactly. A fast 60 is better than a slow 80. Okay, yeah, I'm convinced. I kind of come to that conclusion anyway, but I just thought it was an interesting
topic. Definitely. I think when you sometimes buy job lots of things, there is, I think when we first moved up here, for example, and we were like still finding our feet in terms of sourcing, etc. Like I think I had a tendency to want to break break lots down into individual pieces more, because part of me was like, oh, I've bought this big job lot, I can really milk it and fill my store out and put the inventory up. But as I've grown more confident like sourcing stock, and I know it sounds silly, but I think looking back when we first moved, I think it did knock my confidence in terms of finding stock. And I think like it can lead you to really split things down, which can be okay, but at the same time it's not always right, because when something's taking up space in your house, it's got to be worth taking that space up. Do you know what I mean? Like it's got to have a good payoff. Now, if you're going to suddenly give like a bunch of floor space to something that's going to take so long to sell, it starts getting to the point where it's not paying, it's not paying for itself enough to warrant it. I mean, it's the same argument, I suppose, that shops have, where they'll clear stuff out. In theory, no one should ever sell Lego for £2 a sealed box, but the reason why they do it, because eventually the Lego will sell. We all know it will sell, right? Especially if it's brand new box Lego. But they do it because even though it sells, it just doesn't sell quickly enough to warrant that shelf space, and they've got other things to put there.
Well, that's the key with supermarkets. It's about we've got the new hot product, we want that shelf space for. It doesn't matter that they might be able to sell what was there. They want rid of that because they've got the new hot thing coming in.
And I think that when you get more confident with your sourcing and you start picking more stuff up, you start realizing that you're bringing in better stock than you've already got.
Mm.
I mean, I was actually talking to Steve about this earlier as well, that, you know, like if you sometimes if you come into a lot of stock, so for example, we've got the haul that we picked up with all the RC stuff, and with you bring home this new stock, and it suddenly looks like the stuff that you had already was crap, even though it wasn't. You know, you bought it, but you know, you bought it because there's a profit there or whatever. But it in comparative terms, it's not warranting the space it's taking up, because you feel that that space really should be for this stuff that you've bought in, because it's going to bring you more money, it might do it more quickly, whatever. So
Yeah.
I think there's definitely something
The other thing, and I think Gary was mentioning this before, with that, if I parted it, it's probably like 10 parts. So I've got to do 10 times the listing, packaging, dealing with. So is the extra 20 in this case? It really wasn't. It was a no-brainer really, because it was only possibly an extra 20 quid. It's not worth that extra couple of hours work when I could have sold it, got my 60 quid back, reinvested that in more stuff, and moved on. So yeah, decision made. There's a weird conversation going. There's Nick is everywhere. Every time I turn on my internet, Nick is on. Nick, and then he meant to say on live.
Nick is the internet.
Nick is the internet.
Yeah, it's official. Nick, to be fair, I don't think you've been on this channel like that often, but it's obviously we're doing the Tat Chat.
Yeah, I've not been on your channel much.
No,
I don't know.
The Tat Chat.
Have I been on your channel before ever?
Well, before the Tat Chat.
Oh, Tat Chats, of course. Yeah. No, apart from that,
yeah. Nick is the internet. That's a good comment.
Oh, I could monetize that internet thingy.
Yeah. Dave Rowland says here, same question as last week. Have you done sales yet? I'm assuming you mean like the sales video or something. No, I haven't done one yet.
I did one yesterday.
I've been so terrible. I really do need to get my finger out, but I've actually been quite busy, like trying to just sort stuff out, and I really want to share it because it's cool. We're not doing too badly though.
I tell you what, I'd love to see, and I'm sure loads of the viewers would more of vlog style, saying this is what I'm sorting out. Look at these boxes of stuff, because it's as so much. We love that, like looking in boxes and seeing all the stuff.
I think vlogs. So cool. You know what? I need to learn how to vlog, because I think it's like a habit, isn't it? Like you've got to have your camera, or just
it takes a lot of practice. I'm not that good at it, but yeah, it's
because we keep on forgetting. I mean, Rebecca's tried so many times as well. Like she'll wake up in the morning, she'll be like, oh, you know what, I'm going to vlog today. And the amount of morning guys videos she must have on her phone, there must be like about.
Well, did you guys make it? You guys were vlogging in London when we met up. Did that video not?
No, we didn't even make it.
You didn't get enough footage, you see?
Yeah, because we forgot halfway through. So we just had like a beginning of a day, and that was it.
Whereas me wandering around, I was just filming everything. I was just like in your face with the camera.
I think that's the difference. You've got to kind of practice that and become used to it.
I just want to say hi to Peter Ray, who's in there. Hi, mate. How you doing? He said, going back to that mega haul, what items are flying out? Like what stuff is selling quickly out of that?
Oh, I've got to say I'm surprised, but the die cast, some of the die cast items are more regular than I thought. I mean, I've not gotten around to listing any of the RC stuff yet. I've only listed a tiny amount, and I've only listed like just a couple of those. I was just getting to those, but out of the diecast stuff, I mean, I've got this particular space rocket that I think I'm selling my third one of those now, which is pretty good. And they're selling. I think I paid about £5 a pop, and they're selling at 30 quid a pop. But it's a specific rocket that sold 3 times, and I've sold. But yeah, the diecast stuff is starting to tick over now. You know, not like the mini champs hasn't sold as well as I thought it would, but that's understandable because it's quite a popular market. So I'm expecting maybe to pick up a few sales as we get closer to Christmas on that. But yeah, some of the diecast stuff is doing pretty well. I mean, I've been trying to track what I've sold turnover wise. I still need to update it, but the last time I checked, because there's still a few bits that I need to add actually, because it's not fully up to date, but I know I'm on at least at least 600-700 quid turnover now from it within the,
Wow,
yeah. So
that's good
so
going.
it's had a nice impact. So considering we picked it up at the beginning of the month, it's had a decent impact. Celtic Traders has joined us as well, Caroline. So hi there. And I think she had a comment there saying about space as well, but I missed it.
Sid K had a dream about me and you a couple of days ago. That's
Oh,
just
lovely. That's a great dream.
that's a bit worrying, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So that's.
Oh, hang on. What? The wife woke me up before I could find out what happened. Oh,
Oh,
man.
damn it.
We're in people's dreams, man. What's going on?
Getting into people's dreams is crazy. But yeah, thanks for asking, Peter. That was
Oh,
cool.
apparently, Karen says her sister says you've got a lovely voice.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it doesn't say
Fantastic.
anything about my voice.
I'm sure she meant yours. Actually, she
Myself.
probably meant. One man right asked the question, how are your sales this week, Nick and Z? Nick, you were saying earlier you had a pretty decent
We've
run
had
this
a really
week.
good week. Annoyingly, in your eBay dashboards, you get that little graph that gives you the days and the weekly figure and the monthly and all of that. That's been broken. When we go in, it just says, sorry, we cannot retrieve this information or something. It's been like that for 2 or 3 weeks. So
That's
I can't see
crazy.
I have to go in and physically add it up.
That's crazy. They need to
And
fix that.
Andrea phoned eBay and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll have a look and work on that for you." It's like,
I don't know, but I think that, yeah, I had that issue when I first switched over to the new Seller Hub, but it kind of sorted itself out. Like it
it was
fixed
fine for
itself.
us for
Yeah.
months and months and months.
And it's just gone wrong randomly.
Just messed up. But we've had a really good week. We've been selling some pretty high value electronic stuff like that just went out for 73. So that was good today. So yeah, we've had a pretty good week. Amazon's been pretty much dead, just trickling in a couple of orders a day. But that's because I haven't sent a box up for at least a month.
Yeah. I mean, I was saying to you earlier, actually, like, that my sales haven't been great this week. I think turnover is only on about 500 quid for the last 7 days, which would normally be really distressing or like annoying at least. But Rebecca's probably done, she's added a big chunk onto that, and then with Amazon we've ended up on doing really decent weeks sales. I mean, it's just nice to, it kind of all comes together, and it's what we were hoping, because Rebecca's started to focus more on it. She's branching out into other items as well, which is good. So it was really cool. I was able to hand her all that craft stuff that I couldn't deal with anymore, and she's been bundling and selling it like hotcakes. So doing pretty well actually. So
that's the thing. I mean, you'll start to see the hard work paying off, and
yeah,
it'll hopefully smooth out your roller coaster ride, because you guys have
exactly.
been on and up and down.
Yeah, our store's very much like that. I think it's obviously, I think most likely it's to do with the fact that because we don't have a big inventory, I think but overall it balances out. I think it's just when you look at it on a day-to-day basis, it feels very up and down. But when you actually look at it on a monthly basis, it's actually pretty steady. Like, I think it's just having a smaller inventory means that you do get these big, like, ups and downs, which is
Well, I think with this haul you've got now, which is going to be mainly like sort of 10-15 pound items, maybe even a lot of £5 items in there that we sell more regularly, that's going to smooth it out.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've started to box those up individually, and it's a long task, so that when I sell them I can know where to go, etc. It's not really,
it becomes a logistical nightmare the moment you buy, especially of that volume. I mean, that's per piece, per individual piece, it's way bigger than that haul I had last year.
It's crazy. I mean, like, I picked out like a box of just random things. Each box is picking up you get these lovely little surprises, I suppose. So for example, I got like a box of arms, that the wheel arms, that they're called A arms, and then there's like lower suspension arms, like boxes of them for a certain model of RC truck, and they sell for like 10-15 quid each, and I've got like a box of each of them, and it's like,
you love that though. So you fish it's like a
yeah,
dip.
it's
Then you look it
insane.
up and you go, okay, they're worth 10-15 each, and I've got oh shit, I got 50 of them.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. And
Oh, we chatted, didn't we? Had a live chat, and you were talking about, you were like all excited because you had those little cogs, and you're like,
yeah, those are spur
£10
gears.
each.
I've got, yeah, but they've gone up. I mean, the shop price on them. The funny thing is, the shop price on them when they were selling them originally was only £3.99 each, and
Wow.
then when they wanted to clear them, they dropped them down to like £2 each. But then I looked on eBay, and the last guy that had them was selling them for like £8 on each, and
Well,
you
the
know
thing with that
because
is trying to drop the price on a specialist item like that is fruit. It's like pointless because
yeah,
the person that needs it is so rare.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So how many people want that particular part for an old RC car? So
not
it's
many.
pointless dropping the price. It really
Yeah,
was. Whereas selling it on the internet is the perfect solution to finding that one person in the UK that wants it.
exactly. Corin says put a costume necklace on yesterday for £5. It sold in 2 hours, maybe too low. I did check completed. Corin, we all get that feeling. Have faith in your research. Beck's had this happen a couple of times as well, where she's listed a bit of costume jewelry that she didn't think was particularly special. She's done her research on it. It sold super quickly, and it happens to all of us where we think, "Oh, have I like it's just a natural reaction. It's like
You have
you
to
get the
remember
initial high
when
and
you
didn't
list something and it's new,
yeah
it's promoted and it's right up there. So they are quite
yeah
likely to get picked off anyway because it's
yeah
promoted.
so yeah, try not to dwell on it. I would say that if costume jewelry, you've picked it up, you've listed it, you're happy with what you listed it for. I would say it's fine.
Oh,
um
you've just had a super chat, but I think that's Krillin. But also, Krillin said, "What is a chinwag?" A chinwag is
I've
just
mentioned what a chinwag is before to him. I think he's asking just on purpose.
oh, okay.
I think so. I've mentioned, if I haven't already, chinwag's just a term for like a chat. You,
Yeah,
you wag your chin, don't you, when you're talking?
exactly.
Chinwag.
But you did also get a $5 super chat, did you say?
Super chat as well. Yeah, yeah. Nixie, did you start upselling yet? Just sold a suit and I got him to buy a blazer.
Oh
He's
man.
in Cali, so he saved on shipping. Pixies tonight in Westbury, New York.
Oh wow, a
He's going
Pixies
to watch the
gig would be
Pixies.
crazy. That would be mosh-tastic. Are you going to go moshing? Last time I went to see Carter, like a couple of no more than that, 4 or 5 years ago, and I tried doing what I used to do back in the '90s. It was right in the mosh pit, and it nearly killed me. I was like, I was just battered to death. But yeah, Pixies would be full on live.
Oh, can I just address Southwest Sellers? Z wears the can so you cannot hear Bex calling for more Lemsip. That's not true. I've made her plenty of cups of Lemsip, but bless, she's okay. Some of the comments are hilarious. Oh,
Uh,
Peter Race has super chatted £2 as well for all the good comments I received in the chat.
oh yeah, I missed that one. That was before.
Yeah, yeah, we
Nice one,
need.
Peter.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. Appreciate it. Ezekiel voiceover for where the hell is this chat going? I tell you what, guys, right? If you want to hear someone that's got a most epic voice, and you'll watch him because I mean he's just a cool looking guy as well. He's got that kind of handsome look to him, he's a really cool guy. His channel's called Booth Junkies, or Booth Junkie, and he's a voiceover actor in the States, right? His name's Mike Delgadio, and he does these reviews of microphones. Like when I was researching microphones and things, I'm I'm very much all in when I research something, right? So if I get into something, like, so if I'm buying something, I'll research the hell out of it. I get a buzz from now. I know a lot about microphones, so it will help if I'm ever at an auction, or if I'm ever in a position to buy microphones, I can buy with confidence because I know the difference between the condenser mics and which brands to look out for and the connections and
Yes,
whatnot. Yeah,
we differ a lot in that respect because I'm
yeah.
I'm more of a if it'll do the job, I'll buy it
Yeah,
kind of
I
guy.
just, I think it's just that geeky side. I can't help it. But yeah, this I came across this guy's channel. So his name's Mike Delgaudio or Delgadio or something. His channel is called Booth Junkie. It's completely unrelated to this, but really check out his channel. He does like reviews of mics, and he has got the most epic voice. If you want to hear an epic voice, check it out.
Talking of that, Caroline from the Celtic Traders asked a question: why does Zahir wear headphones and Nick doesn't? Signed, technically clueless of Wales.
um, I wear headphones because it on my own anyway. It reduces the chance of feedback. The reason why you wear headphones is because I pipe the computer sound into these rather than coming out of my speakers, because then all the sound is just going straight into my ears. Whereas if I have it coming out of my speakers, there's a chance that the sound coming out of the speakers will get caught back up in the microphone and go through, and that's when you get echoes. So overall, like especially when you've got more people, it doesn't really matter when there's only a couple of you in the chat.
Yeah, we
Then
used to have some issues, didn't we? I mean, it's
yeah,
a lot better now. I did invest in a fairly decent piece of kit. I mean, it's pretty bog standard, really. But I have this
yeah,
beastie here,
yeah,
which is only picking up sound from quite a defined
yeah.
range. So the fact that the computer's behind with the speakers,
Doesn't affect it. Yeah, it's yeah. If you buy a quality mic, then depending on the pattern. So this is what I've learned. So this is a cardioid mic, so it's got like a heart-shaped pattern, but I think that's what yours is as well, actually, Nick. But like,
yeah, I believe so.
it's quite a narrow.
Taking a radius of 45 degrees out the front.
Correct. Yeah. So it that eliminates feedback. But if you're using, for example, the mic on your webcam or something like that, they're not they can be too super sensitive. They're not very good at that, and they'll just pick up stuff, and you get horrible echoing. Andrea says, "I'm rocking the Craig David look tonight." That's a classic comment. It reminds me of Bo Selector.
Oh my god.
Z given up on coke and is drinking gender fluid now. What? Just because I said he's a handsome guy? Check him out. He's a handsome guy. I'm gonna have to leave a link. Like, he's a cool looking dude. He's so cool, and his voice is just epic.
Oh, that's my Andrea. I just noticed.
Yeah, Andrew's popped in.
Born to Do It. Do you remember that album where he's on the cover?
Oh yeah, that's it.
You've got to do the Craig David look.
Yeah, Craig David. Yeah, but you know, I need a kestrel now. I need Kes.
Kes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch a whole. I'm gonna have to binge watch that on YouTube again now.
Yeah. Go back to your bedroom making music when remember when he meets Daniel Bedingfield. So it's brilliant.
I finished my pint already. That's
the Darren's already in there. Where's Kes tonight? See, there we go.
My favorite on that was his version of Mel B. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a classic. Yeah.
I'm not going to do my impression on it.
It's amazing. Z is just sponsored. I'm not sponsored by Razer, but I am a complete Razer fanboy, guys. I can't help it. I absolutely love their stuff. I've even bought Rebecca a really overpriced gaming mouse that she just does not need because she's just using it mostly for eBay. But my daughter plays The Sims, so I'm like, at least she's playing The Sims with a Razer mouse. It makes me feel happy.
Crillin's just said, if I was on the live show, you would need English subtitles. There's a thought. Krillin, if you're listening,
yeah.
If you want to come on the chat, because you're such a regular contributor to the chat anyway, I'd love to get you on and find out what's going on in New York. That'd be amazing. Yeah, drop me a PM if you can.
And I think Krillin's accent's amazing as well. If you haven't checked out his videos, guys, check it out. I love that New York accent. That's like the
ones I've watched. I don't know if it's all of them, but you don't see his face.
No, he's a man of mystery. Is Krillin?
Oh.
He's a man of mystery.
Could be another Joe Penny's moment.
Bonafide Hustlers popped in the chat as well.
What's that?
Bonafide Hustlers popped in the chat as well. So hi to Chris. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Getting some people. One man says Z sounds like George from Seinfeld when he meets Elaine's new boyfriend and has a man crush on him. I love George from Seinfeld. Seinfeld is such a great show. Absolutely. Did you ever watch it?
No, Nick? I know of it, but I didn't get into it.
Oh, just absolutely love Seinfeld. I'm mad for it. It was my friend's fault. My friend got me into it, and I got hooked, and that was it. But
it was, I can't see on this screen. Can you?
Can I see what?
How many viewers are we on?
Oh, it says 101 viewers at the
Oh
moment,
wow,
so
cool.
101 people in there. Brilliant answer. Thanks both, says Celtic Traders. I can't remember what it was now. What was the question?
What question? Are we answering a
Did we
question?
answer a question?
I don't know.
I don't
Don't ask me. I'm on the beer. I'm not.
know. We can't answering questions. I don't know.
Oh, Caroline says only 14 thumbs up. Come on, everyone, hit the like button.
Oh, thank you, Caroline. Yeah, smash the like button, guys, if you enjoy the content.
I'll tell
I
you
know
what,
it's
yeah.
pretty chilled out. But go on.
We at a jumble sale a while back. At the end, that they do the whole everything's 10p thing. So I took a punt on a couple of little watercolors, only because they were originals, and I picked this up. Okay, and it's signed by an artist called Gallia. His surname is Gallia. I don't know if that's going to show, whether you can actually see it. And
Difficult. I
I
can see some.
researched, and he's a listed artist, as in he's noted, and lists of his paintings are actually available and stuff. And on the back it says, I don't think you're going to be able to read that.
Yeah, I
Joseph,
can read that actually. It says original painting. Yeah.
operating out of Valletta in Malta. Did some research. People have been asking like 100, 150 for his paintings, but generally bigger ones. So I thought, okay, I'll stick it on. I couldn't find any small ones, but it's really small. It's pretty shabby. So I just stuck it on 30 quid. From 10p, 30 quid, I'm happy with. Somebody messaged me and said, why does the signature say CH Gallia, which it does,
Yeah.
when it says on the back, painted by Joseph Gallia? It doesn't make any sense. And we tried to do some research, and it's just, I don't know, I'm baffled by it. Because the signature is different to Joseph Gallia's, and it doesn't make any sense. But the painting looks exactly like the other ones that he's done.
You could reframe it to remove any confusion, because if it's CH Gallia, that's the who's the sought after one, CH or Joseph?
Joseph. But then the other weird thing is, in front of Joseph, it says Chev.
Did he have a nickname?
I don't know. There, it's got C. Maybe it's.
Oh, yeah. Celtic Trader says, did it say Chev as the first name? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, all I've done is I've put now Chev Joseph Gallia in my listing.
Oh, one man right says, don't reframe it.
Oh, I'm not going to.
No. Yeah. Caroline said it was headphones. Yes, it was headphones. The headphone question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
super.
Andrea, my wife is in there again. Says, I think this one is signed Chev Gallia rather than Joseph Gallia. Yeah, because we tried to do some Google research, and it kind of confused me even more. But anyway, I'm thinking I'm going to go and put the price up now. I've just had a moment. I'm just thinking I'm going to put it to 50 quid.
One thing it's actually reminded me of, in a roundabout way, that painting. And also Krillin's comment about upselling as well, because I know you did this quite successfully, but when it comes to selling or promoting your items, you did quite well when you had some craft stuff, didn't you? You got rid of these little wedding box things because you joined.
Yeah, that wasn't on eBay though.
Yeah, that was a Facebook group. You went direct to a Facebook group, but you could, I suppose, join a Facebook group that was like a fan of something, and then you maybe join it and be like, hey guys, I think that would be a bit awkward, wouldn't it, joining a group and going, hey guys, I'm selling this.
Depends on the group, because the Facebook group that I used to sell all of those, they were just little gift boxes.
Yeah,
I think you had a go as well. That was a selling group, so they're totally open to you joining just to sell your stuff.
Yeah.
So I went on there, and it was a tip off I had from someone in the chat. Who was that? Yeah, CP Crafts and More, maybe.
Yeah.
Or CP No Crafts.
Yeah.
And I just went on there and I shared that I had all of these craft boxes and I needed a shot of them, and I sold the lot within 24 hours and made, I don't know what it was, £200 or £300 on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool. And I was in profit on the lot already because I've been selling them in little batches on eBay.
Oh, cool.
But Facebook marketing is something, as I've discussed a little bit with you, that I'm looking at a bit more now.
Yeah, no, because I was thinking, especially like with all these parts that I've got as well, to join like a group, because people are on the lookout for them and buying them. By the way, it looks like that your painting has sold for £4,001 in the chat. They've just held their own impromptu auction for it.
Right. Okay. Sold to Peter, £4,000. Yes, says Gary. Sold to Pete's coming. Right. Well, PayPal me, please. This will be winging its way to you. Wow.
And One Man Right asks, Nick, why are there so many empty gaps on your shelves?
Because I've been clearing my stuff. Check me out. And somebody asked me this the other day. The thing is, there's so much stuff in the loft that we want to bring down that I could fill this up and some. I could fill it up twice probably with what's in there. I've still got all the sports gear.
Oh God, have you started bringing that down now? Or?
No. Well, actually, I think Andrea's doing some of the swimwear maybe.
Wow, that's taken its time, hasn't it, to get through the
to
get through the machinery.
But that's the plan. After Christmas, we're going to empty the loft into here, I think, and then work through it. Who knows?
Or the Celtic Traders are in the Premier Inn at the moment, and they're going to France tomorrow.
Oh, somebody said earlier, enjoy your holiday, Caroline. And I thought they were talking about the other Caroline who's currently in, where are they? Somewhere we went a few years ago. One of the Spanish islands, aren't they? Caroline's gone to. Can't remember. Mallorca.
Yeah, no, Celtic Traders are going to France, aren't they? They'll probably pop into. They're going to go to relax, apparently, but.
Oh, I was going to say they're going to the
brocants. Yeah, probably.
Is that just a Spanish word for boot sale? I'm not Spanish, French.
French. I don't know. I think they're more like street sales as well, aren't they? I don't know. Ryan, doing it yourself lifestyle asks question: what are the plans this weekend? Any boot fairs or jumble sales for you guys?
No sourcing at all. I'm at a friend's wedding tomorrow night, and he's a friend from my poker game in the pub, and all of my poker mates are going. It's just going to be messy. Andrew's not going with me, so my plan is to go to that and then recover.
Wow. Yeah, no, there's no boot fairs for us at the moment. We're just going to be hopefully recovering. I'm a bit worried now though, because it was the kids went back to school, picked up a cold. It eventually works its way to Beck. I'm so far, it seems like I'm immune to it. It's famous last words. So I'm hoping that like Beck's going to get better and I'm not going to get ill, and we're going to just carry on listing through the stock. So
I was just reading Darren's comment.
Oh, the word Chev.
Chev. Oh, he's been on Google. He's too good on Google. He knows his stuff. Chev is what Malta use in place of our word knight. So Chev or Chevalier is a knight of Malta. So he may have been given a title.
Oh, there we go.
It doesn't explain then why the signature is different to other Joseph Gallia's pictures. Yet the painting is exactly the same style. He's not signed it as Joseph Gallia. He signed it as C.H. Gallia. And
it's definitely a watercolor.
Definitely a watercolor. And the view he's done several times. It's Malta Harbour. The date is right, 1967. He's produced works in 1967. I don't know.
Bob Dixon says, I think brocante means tap market.
Sounds right.
What amount are you per daisy listing? Asked Scott Burrows. Oh, I'm really disappointed in myself. I had a real stonking day on Wednesday. I think I did like 44 listings. Yesterday I did naff all. I just didn't like when I say I did naff all, I did do a lot of work in terms of processing. I mean, guys, I suppose because I haven't shown any videos or anything, but it does take a lot of time to process stock and just to keep things like a semblance of organization or tidiness when you're dealing with literally thousands of packets of stock, you know, each one, even if it's only worth 2 or 3 quid, it's just.
This is why we need a little vlog video from you, because nobody's believing your excuses now. You need to show us all of these thousands of little things that you're sorting out, and all the price labels you've got to peel off and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Just even that, it takes, you should just put piles of 10. But the problem is, Scott, with putting piles of 10, I've got multiples as well. And I it's trying to organize so I can, if I'm finding something, I'm trying to find as many of that item as possible so that I can, do a multi-listing if necessary and the things like that. So it's very much, there are days where there's a lot of preparation that happens.
Mm.
And then there's days where I can list lots, because, like, for example, today I've taken a bunch more photographs, and I'm going to be able to just list another few items, hopefully at least another 20-30 items. But I'm doing okay in terms of listing. I think just tracking it is so important. I think it's brought to light how little attention I've paid to tracking these things. I'm not very good at lists and that kind of thing, and I feel that it's easy when you don't track things by the number to not do much, but when you track things you can actually really push yourself, and obviously it's working. But it is really bad when you're dealing with so many different packages. It's just, I've never had to deal with something like this before either, so I'm trying to figure out the best way of doing it.
There is a lot of upfront work though. You can't avoid that. And I
Yeah.
think you have to get some sort of system, and whatever you've got in place, there's going to be
Well,
a fair amount of upfront work just to get to the point where you can list it sensibly.
I figured out that rather than, because I don't want to, because ideally what I'd do is literally have everything out and then separate and count everything and separate each individual line and know exactly how much of each line I've got. And then I could sit down and do lots of multi listings. That would be the ideal thing. But I can't go for days and days without listing. It just feels wrong. So
Yeah.
what I'm doing is I'm going through bags, I'm listing stuff. And what I'm hoping is that I'll be able to, like, when I find something which I've already listed, I'll just be able to add it on. Scott says I have a spreadsheet I've shared on the chat would help you no end. I think I might look into that, because I was actually thinking of having a spreadsheet for this stock, just for the Thunder Tiger RC parts, because there's so many of them. That, yeah. Sib says I'm hearing excuses. I'm still listing though, guys. But what I'm doing is, like I said, I'm like, I'll list, and then if I find more of the same, I can tack it on. So as long as I've tracked what I've listed, and I'm actually gonna. One other thing, do you have your items in categories, Nick, or do they all go in other?
Oh God. Well,
Like, mine are all in other. I'm just,
most of it's in other,
yeah,
because I do have some loose categories, but we maxed out our number, as in, I don't know what it is. It's like 50 or 60 categories. When we were doing clothing and nothing but clothing, we had like women's clothing, skirts, this size to this size, and we broke it down into minute categories. And we've never changed it. We don't use most of those anymore. And we've never taken the time to go back in, delete all those categories we don't really bother with anymore, and expand all the categories of the stuff that I now sell. It's been like it for the past 3 years. So most of my
yeah.
stuff goes, I've got some basic ones like CDs and DVDs and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a job I've been meaning to do for years, and I haven't bothered.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I
I
mean,
just want to
I'm
say,
going to I'm going to actually start a category for the RC parts, definitely, and I
well,
think
you
I
should.
should really do one for the die cast stuff as well, because it just to help just to help with multi buys.
Yeah, because with multi buys, you can say, if the more you buy, the more you save on postage. You can throw that line at them if you do postage discounts, and then
Yeah,
you say and you put a line in saying, just go to my shop and search in the RC cars category, and then
yeah.
it's quick and easy for them to do. So
Yeah, God, there's so much organization. I'm just really not good at it. Tracy has a question. It says, seriously, I know we all have different models, but how long, I guess, did it take each of you to start turning a profit and having money left on your card/account at the end of the month? That's a question that you can't really answer. But what I will say to you, and this is something that I was talking to Rebecca about the other day, is if you've just worked a job before where you get paid at the end of the month in a lump sum, and then you literally change completely how you've earned money, and you change how you earn money compared to the majority of people out there, and you start working for yourself, you really really have to look at how you spend money, because when you're getting paid um in the sporadic form of people buying stuff from you, unless you're on your game, it doesn't matter how much money you earn, you're not going to feel like you're earning it, because it's going to get spent as it comes in. You've got to really it's basic budgeting, and I say that with a big, when I say it's basic, it's anything but basic. You've got to learn how to look after your money in a completely different way. When you work a job where you get paid at the end of the month, you can get away with not having to budget in a way as much, because part of the budgeting is done for you, because you know you're going to get this guaranteed consistent lump sum, so it makes it so much easier. But when you're getting paid, you could be earning a lot more money reselling than you've ever earned in a job, but because it's coming in this inconsistent and what's the word, unpredictable way, no 2 weeks are the same. You might have a week where you make £1,000 turnover by doing exactly 100 and whatever pounds a day to add up to £1,000. I don't know the maths, I can't do it. But then there might be a day where you don't sell anything for 6 days and make £1,000 in one day. It's possible, and it's unpredictable, and you've got to know how to keep hold of the money. So
all we ever did, trying to think back, was we basically left the money in the business, and we took out what we needed as and when. So we weren't saying, oh, it's the end of the month, we're going to take out X because that's what the business owes us for our salary. It was never like that. It would just be, we'd take bits and bobs as and when we needed to.
Yeah.
And that's always just worked for us. And we let the money build up within the business. Yeah, I don't know. It's different for everyone. I think you just have to find a way that works for you. I just want to read back a bit in the chat, actually, because this painting has caused a bit of interest. One man Riot said the painting is 100% original. I've got no doubts it's original. I'm just confused with the signatures and stuff. And then Gary says, first Google picture has him as Chev Chris Gallia, which would kind of match up with that signature. But then on the back it says original painting by Chev Joseph Gallia, which that doesn't match that. See what I mean? Unless they only had one stamp and they just stamped this guy's, I don't know, it's weird. But I did go and Google him, and there's a whole family down there in Malta that have carried on the family business. There's a few of them doing it. I don't know, it's just confusing. Apparently, and he looks like Craigslist Hunter without the beard, this guy.
Cool.
This Gallia. This is crazy. Oh, there's also a Charles Gallia. Oh, that would make sense. Charles Gallia, because CH Gallia, that would make sense.
Yeah, would do, wouldn't it?
But then that is probably just a standard stamp they have from their art gallery. Who knows? I'm pretty clueless, really.
Fair enough.
For 10p, I think I'm onto a winner.
I think so. Just a fair bit of a lot of comments coming in. Here's a good question for you, Nick, actually, from Ryan. Gosh, I just looked at the time. Ryan asked this question, and we can see whether you want to stay on or go off, because it's 8:08 actually.
Cool. I'm happy. I might have to go get another beer though.
Yeah. Yeah, he says, question for Nick: what's the motivation for you now that you're mortgage free, etc.? What is the buzz for you now when financially when you've financially made it, so to speak?
The motivation is still that, like everyone else, we still have bills to pay. It's not like we have nothing going out, so we still have to work to keep the cogs turning. But I still get the same thrill out of selling anything. You know what I mean? When that ka-ching comes in, I guarantee I'm as excited as you are. No matter how much I really need that sale, I'm still as excited, and the hunt for stuff is still as exciting.
I think that's an interesting topic, because I mean Scott Burrows is in the chat, who I think is a fan of Jim Rohn, from what I can tell as well. But it's one of those things where I remember Jim Rohn talking about this once before as well, like the motivation for people is different. Like people don't necessarily do things for money. So for example, he mentions that he had millionaire friends who still work 18-hour days, and they don't do it for the money. They do it for the feeling of what how the success makes them feel. Some people need that buzz, and it's what got them that money in the first place. So for example, you know, when sometimes people say, oh, if I ever got like $1 million, I'd never work a day, you know, in my life. And Jim Rohn says to that, that's why the good Lord makes sure they never get their $1 million, because, you know, it's a mindset, isn't it? It keeps you going.
Yeah. Yeah. There's motivation is such a personal thing, isn't it? And
Yeah.
what motivates me may not motivate you or somebody else. And yeah, it's interesting because I'm still weirdly ambitious, but I have to temper that with not wanting to spend my life working, and time is more important. I don't know. It's complicated. I swing backwards and forwards with wanting to do less and then wanting to start new things. And
But well, the thing is, starting things is what keeps you going, isn't it? I mean, if you can't just stop. I just don't think you can.
my brain doesn't let me. I've
Yeah,
got ideas all the time. It's like I can't stop it. But
I think that's a
kind of
good
want to do
thing. Yeah, I
less.
don't think. I mean, what would you do if you stopped? Like, you know, what,
Exactly,
you
exactly.
know.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's fun, and challenge is also fun for me.
I mean, you know, there's those horrible statistics about people when, you know, when they retire in terms of their health and death rates. You
Yeah,
know, that's not a joke. I mean,
not
if you just retire and you stop doing something, the chances are you're going to become sick and die, versus someone that carries on doing or keeping active, not necessarily working till you die, but, you know, like keeping active, you know, keeping yourself going, where rather than just stopping. I mean,
totally.
it's that old phrase, use it or lose it. You know, I really do think that's
Yeah, I think you have to keep your brain active when you stop work somehow. Um,
yeah.
this painting thing is rolling on.
Gallia.
Uh, the studio is named after the original Gallia, i.e., Joseph Gallia, and then Dave's come back with the Gallia family in Malta has had a number of talented artists, most living and working in Valletta, which is this studio where this has come from. I actually found a picture of the little shop in Malta where this would have hung, this 70 South Street, Malta. Found a picture of it on
Cool.
Google. Anyway, Joseph Gallia opened his business in 1920, and his brother Carmelo started his in the 1950s.
You couldn't learn more about Joseph Gallia in any other chat, guys. So
But I'm still slightly confused as to who this. It's CH Gallia. This was signed at, so I reckon this is the Chris guy. But they've just sold it through this studio, which has the Joseph Gallia stamp.
Sib K says, I know more about the Gallia family than I do about my own.
Yeah.
And Celtic Trader says, I intend to die at 110 after a busy day skydiving.
Nice.
No, it
Wow.
is actually 12 past 8 now, so I'm gonna call it time.
That's cool.
What do you reckon? I think that's, yeah. Z, update the video title, says Southwest Sellers. It's like something about Gallia, I'm guessing. Just yeah.
Gary said, Nick, save your pennies and come and move to Devon, close to the sea and some beautiful scenery. I was chatting on the chat. Somebody was talking about moving from somewhere to somewhere else to do their reselling. And what keeps us here is Ellen's school and being close to family. But I think if those factors weren't in it, we'd cash in this place and buy God knows what elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can't underestimate those things. It is very tough. The family side of it
Oh,
is
cool.
very
You've felt that, haven't you?
yeah, we've really felt that. It's hard. It's not easy. You can't really come up with a fix for it. You know, school's not that big an issue if you move at the right time, but it can become when you're, you know, like Ellen's what, 15 now.
Yeah, nearly
Yeah,
15,
so that's a critical stage, isn't it? You don't want to be moving in like GCSE years.
Oh, Gary's just said we have schools. We're not that backward. I know you've got schools, but fucking Ellen out when she's just about
Yeah,
to
I
GCSE.
don't think she'd be very pleased. And
Not wise. Plus, of course, it's the whole thing. I mean, we're so entrenched in Hitchin. I mean, Ellen has all her friends. We have a social life here, and it's like, you know, but we could do very well setting up and moving somewhere
yeah,
else. But
I mean, overall, we found that the balance for moving has been worth it. but you know, you've got to sacrifice, and you know, unfortunately, we've had to sacrifice that um that that contact with family. We're not as much as we used to have.
Yeah,
Um,
difficult.
Anyway, guys, I think on that note, we will let you get on with your evening. Thank you for the 100 odd people that popped in. And thanks for all the well wishes towards Beck. It's been epic. And a big thanks to Nick for popping in and
My
chatting with
pleasure.
me.
On a last comment, I'm just going to
Yeah.
read. Dave
Yeah.
said, because we've just hosted this, he thinks the tat chat should be done by the girls on Tuesday.
It would be good if you could get them to do it. You know, that would be
I think
quite
they should. I
cool.
suggested that they did a hangout before.
Yeah.
Andrea, if you're listening. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for letting me chat with you.
No, not at all. It's been epic, Nick. Thanks for helping out. Really appreciate it. Um, oh, just before we go, there's been an update. We can't leave without the update. Andrea just put bingo. I think we have a Carmelo Gallia.
Carmelo, but this looks like CH Gallia. Keep looking, Andrea.
Okay, guys. Thank you for popping in. Appreciate it.
All right, take it easy. I need more beer.
See you later.